All right. Welcome to I believe it is the seventh almost weekly, Two Brothers
Well,
podcast. This week, you may notice to my left is not Super Jeremy World, but it is Mike Molinus from the
did you
original
just say?
Next Level Gaming.
Did you say Mullinus?
Did I? I don't know. Maybe.
Yes.
I'm tired. It's 11 p.m. Feel
Yes, it
free to
is.
correct me.
I get a lot of Mullins,
Mullins?
because people think I have an S in there,
Okay.
but I can't say I've heard Mullinus.
Mullins?
That's a new one.
Yeah, that was definitely a sleep Freudian slip
It's
right
okay.
there. So why don't you
No, it's all
introduce
good.
yourself then?
Hello, everyone. I am Mike Mullis, not Mullisai, not Mullises, Mullis, singular,
Not mollusk.
not mollusk. I'm not an under the water clam. How you doing, Captain BlusTech?
Oh,
Sir?
I am doing all right. For those who don't get that reference, we play Bridge Crew occasionally. Try to play every week. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. And I'm usually the captain, and Mike here is the original Lieutenant Stinger. Usually helmsman or weapons officer.
Well, whatever I can get my hands on at this point.
Sometimes you just gotta go with what life gives you.
Right. How are you?
I'm doing good. I have to apologize to everybody for not being here last week. I was literally deathly ill. And we were just not able to get a substitute for me on such short notice last week. So we just decided to cancel. So sorry to everybody who missed out on last week's episode. Also, next week I will not be on. I will have a substitute next week, though. I don't know who it is. So spam Super Jeremy World and pester him to find out who it is. Jeremy's on vacation right now. He's at the beach with the family, so that's why Mike is here this week. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. This is definitely a first to be up this late trying to start a podcast. Usually we're almost midway. Well, let's see, 9:30, 10:30, 11. Yeah, we're a little more than halfway through the NLG show at this point. So
yeah, you guys go late and long and late.
well, we're trying to work on that. So we're moving back a half hour. So instead of starting at 9:30, we're going to start at 9, and we're going to try to slim down a little bit and try to go 2 hours at the max. So we've kind of moved from just trying to talk about all kinds of stuff to some dedicated segments. So I've got a retro segment. Chris has a Game Pass segment. Frankie does his indie game segment, and and John will do I think we're honing in on him and doing some VR stuff, or at least some sort of game review a week, plus his product of the week and stuff. So we're
I love those product of the weeks. Those are
he
great.
brought that. So that is not a new concept. John was one of my co-hosts 4.5 to 5 years ago, and he brought that in then, and then we never used it because I always attributed it to him. So when he left the first time, a few years back, that kind of went. I was like, I'm not going to do that. That's not right. And when he came back, on, I was like, we got to bring back the product of the week. And so I'm glad everybody likes it, because it's been great. So, but no, we're going to try to, we're trying to cut down to doing some specific game related segments. And then in the last hour of the show will be, either I'd say between half hour to hour of the show will be whatever we'll pick a topic of the week. We'll pick a news thing. We'll pick a something or other. Now, some special, some things are gonna get special treatment. In 2 weeks the Xbox showcase is coming on, so obviously that's gonna be the kind of the bulk of our talking. So
Right.
I may not do a retro segment that week because we're gonna have so much to look at and so much to talk about that, but for the most part, we're gonna try to keep these shows concise and something that everybody can jump in and be part of. And from our chat room,
we get crazy
we
in there.
but you know what? We love that, and it's not that crazy. You guys stay in sync with what we're talking about, and the gaming conversation in there is intelligent and fun, and it excites us to see it. While I'm trying to manipulate everything and turn on videos and stuff like that, I get a chance to look at the chat room once in a while, and I'm always impressed with what what people are doing in there, what people are talking about, and the lack of fighting and arguing with each other and fanboyism
Right.
and all that stupid nonsense. So it makes me happy to see what happens in our chat room. So
Yeah,
anyway,
I love the chat room with your guys' weekly stream, and I'm lucky with how long you guys go and when you guys start that my computer's in my bedroom, so I can lay in my bed and have you guys up on my computer.
Nice.
And I've got my lapboard my lapboard keyboard, so I can just lay in bed and type away
and just type away
and like halfway fall asleep, and then something will happen. John will do something, or John and Frankie will argue, and I'll wake back up, and I'll be like, "Oh, right."
Oh my goodness, that's funny.
So it works for me.
Yeah. So I appreciate that. I didn't come on here to start plugging my show. I came on here to talk to you. This is your show.
Plug
yours
away,
and Jeremy.
Man.
So
man, I cannot, like, I can't even express how much I love your guys' show. Me and Jeremy, like he started YouTube a little bit before I started YouTube back up. And he did his Amico thing, because like when he first approached me with the Amico, I was disenfranchised with it. I was not a fan.
Right, I remember this.
And so like he's like, well, you've got a YouTube channel. You should get Tommy on, and you should do this, that, and the other. And I was like, well, why don't you do it? And so he started his YouTube channel, and then I started my channel back up shortly after. And like, it's always been this balance of I don't want to I don't want to be doing the same stuff that he's doing, and I don't want to encroach on his like territory or his group of friends, etc. So when I started, like when I saw you on AAA the first time, I went to your stream like later that week, and I just felt like I was home. And your guys' stream and your guys' content is much more on my side, my direction of things, than it is Jeremy's, because he's much more retro focused, and I'm like retro but also very tech, very modern, very very in the moment gaming. So when I found you guys, I was excited because yeah.
And the same here. I mean, when we did the first interview with Tommy Tallarico in January, that's when Pete came into our chat room. And I mean, Pete's an incredible guy. And
Pete's
through
awesome.
Through Pete, I met you and Jeremy. Because I met Jeremy on Amico All Access. Through Jeremy through Jeremy that I started watching 2Brothers, because you guys are just kind of are getting underway. And then you and I just started talking, and then next thing you know, we're playing Bridge Crew together. I
Yeah.
mean, so I I'm in when it comes to gaming. And I'm getting more so feeling like this lately, like I'm an old soul.
Mm-hmm.
Um, talking about retro, talking about the Amico, talking about things of the past seem to excite me more these days than things of the future.
Oh yeah, you're not the only one, man.
You know,
I get stuck talking like you get me started talking about like when I started gaming, like when I started PC gaming, playing Jedi Knight Dark Forces or
mm,
Age of Empires or
yep.
any of those games. Like I'll just go on and on for hours because frankly those games were better. Now, don't get me wrong. If you go and you try to play Dark Forces on a PC without a controller today, have fun.
Well, yeah, you're
like,
right.
it's a
But
bad
you're
game, but yeah.
but you're right in that games made then, didn't you didn't have the luxury of day one patches.
Right.
You didn't have the luxury of actually you didn't have the luxury of fixes. You
No,
know,
no, you didn't. Like
that game had to come out and it had to be good.
yeah, Dark Forces 1 was, I mean, it was the standard like I don't even know what engine that was, but it was the standard like Doom-esque port type of game, like Doom, early Unreal content, stuff like that. Um, they were all these standard first-person shooters that were almost identical in every facet, and that was great on one side because you could easily make a theme game like a Star Wars game and call it Star Wars Dark Forces and just have different skins on everything, and it was easy to produce, and there was low margin of error, and it was just a more fluid and entertaining type of game. Because you could jump from Dark Forces to playing that iteration of Doom, and you'd feel like you're playing the same game, except
Right.
like different enemies, different storyline. And frankly, I think that more games need to be like that because that's one advantage to the Amico that coming out is that games are supposed to be easy again.
Well, and I think that too,
And by that I mean
there's
easy to play, not easy to
yeah,
necessarily
no, I
win.
got you, and
Yeah.
that's exactly right. And a game like Dark Forces, Jedi Knight, Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast,
Oh man.
those
Oh,
games, this was back before anybody had thought of open world games.
oh I
You
know.
know, there was, and you know, I haven't played games like The Witcher 3, and everybody goes, "What do you mean you haven't played The Witcher 3?" Well, because I don't have the time. The last real open world game I think I played was Skyrim.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No, let me back that up. I would consider Horizon Zero Dawn an open world game. I think the way that was set up, but
Yeah.
I Red Dead Redemption 2, I played for like a couple hours and I was done. Um, like I say, The Witcher 3 hadn't
See,
gone through.
with The Witcher and games like that, like I haven't played The Witcher 3, and my reasoning for that is like I don't need to play Oblivion or Skyrim over again. Sorry. It's just
That's fair.
it looks like the same game with better graphics and a different storyline. And yeah, I literally just said like not even 5 minutes ago that games should follow that pattern a little bit more, but like when you're making a completely different franchised video game that's supposed to be this perfect awesome AAA game, I expect something different. I don't expect the exact same like carbon copy of Skyrim because that's what Witcher 3 looked like to me when it came out. It looked like another Skyrim. Like cool. Yeah,
Right.
better graphics, but like I've already got like 2000 hours in Skyrim. Why would I want to go over there?
No, and you know, look, I platinumed Horizon Zero Dawn.
Mhm.
I platinumed Spider-Man. So those are, Spider-Man's pretty open world. But my preference are games that give me a point A and a point B. And even quasi. So the Tomb Raider trilogy, that the newest Tomb Raider trilogy, Tomb Raider, and then Rise of the Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Yep.
Those were not quite open world. They were sort of semi, but you had points to go to.
Yeah.
God of War, same thing. It was a little open world where you could kind of go around the base, but you had specific places once you landed that you had to go through. And it wasn't traveling from, it didn't take you 20 minutes to travel across the land.
I think the last modern open world game the newest modern open world game I've played is Tom Clancy's The Division 2.
And see,
I did enjoy it. I didn't go out and buy it. I got it free with my AMD graphics card. I got that and DMC5, Devil May Cry 5, and Resident Evil something or other. I got all three of those games with my $600 graphics card. So
wow,
I wasn't not going to, because that's like $160 worth of games, give or take, $160, $170 worth of games. So I wasn't gonna not play them.
No, you should, right? Yeah, especially if you paid that much for your video card.
Well, my video card was $600. I did not pay that for it. I paid less than half of that for it. Plus, there was a $50 mail-in rebate. Plus the $150+ worth of games.
Even half of that, I'm married. That's not happening. Yeah, I'm just saying, that's not happening.
My graphics card, I think, was $360, $370, something like that.
Wow.
But like, this computer was purpose built for graphics editing and for 3D rendering and video production, and so
okay,
fair. I had a semi valid excuse for the $1,500 computer.
Fair. No, I that's totally fair.
But yeah,
totally fair.
The Division 2 was, I liked it. I didn't play the Division, the original game, and I hadn't played a Tom Clancy game in over a decade. So
wow.
coming in blind with, like, I had heard nothing about the game. So coming in blind, I enjoyed it a lot. And I think that's the best way to play any game, is to go into it completely blind, with like no inclinations about the game, no preconditions in your head about the game. If you can play a game like that, I don't care what it is, you're gonna have a more enjoyable time.
No, I agree. But those, give me something that point A to point B. The beauty of games like Doom and Quake, the beauty of games like, not so much Metro Exodus, even though I liked Metro Exodus, but the original two Metro games, they call them the corridor games.
Yeah.
I'm okay with the corridor games. Now, I'm getting away. I'm sort of, not as much into shooters anymore. But even like the first Uncharted set of series, and even Uncharted 4. I mean, they gave you a specific place to go, a way to go, and you went and you followed the story. Those. They may not take as much time to play. You can't put hundreds of hours into them, but
I
thoroughly. Well, you can if you
completionist and all.
If you if you want to go back, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the lightly the waypoint style games. Like they give you a generalized guide of where you need to go, and to follow the story, and you can meander off here and there occasionally and do side quests or whatever, but generally it keeps you in this nice tunnel through gameplay. I prefer things that guide you along when it comes to games, like the original Halos, or all the way up to Halo 3, um or like the Call of Duty Black Ops 1 and 2, the actual single player campaigns, um Modern Warfare 2, the campaign. I too have been getting
Yeah,
away from
yeah,
shooters and whatnot in recent years. I'm really hopeful. I have very high hopes about Halo Infinite, though. Super high. That being said,
absolutely.
I am purposefully and 100% keeping myself out of the news loop when it comes to Halo Infinite, because I want that unadulterated, unopinionated representation of the game when I play it.
True, but I want to see where they're going with it.
I didn't.
Um,
I
you
haven't
know,
played the last one yet.
5?
Yeah, I haven't played it
Really?
yet. Yeah, I actually just bought it from GameStop a couple weeks ago, because they were doing buy two get two free on used games. So I bought it and a couple other three or Xbox One titles that I hadn't gotten around to buying. And it's sitting by my Xbox waiting. But
Huh.
I probably won't get to it before I move.
Well, probably not. So which Xbox do you have? Do you have an original Xbox One? Do you have an X? Do you have a?
I have an original.
Okay. All right.
And like when the X came out, I was like, why would I buy an X when I know for a fact in like a year and a half, the
Yeah.
Series X is coming out? It didn't make sense in
I
my head.
no, I know, and the uh, I'm almost thinking if I knew then what I know now.
That you wouldn't have.
I don't know. I think I would have waited 2 more years, 3 more years. You know,
I mean, don't get me wrong. The Xbox One X was a vast improvement over the original console, or even the 4K Xbox One S. Um, it was a vast improvement over both of them. In just pure compute power, the Xbox One X is double the graphical compute power than the original Xbox One.
yeah, and so I will
I'm
tell
not
you that
knocking it
it
as a
is.
console.
Yeah, no, it is everything that they described. And I have a 4K TV that my wife got me for my birthday last year, and this might be why I'm still not totally sold on the Series X, is that the games that I'm looking at now, number one, so there's two things. One, the games I'm looking at now, pretty darn beautiful.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I have no doubt that Halo Infinite is going to look really good on my regular X.
Yeah,
Now, will it load faster on the Series X? Yep.
sure.
It's gonna it'll have all that instant no loading time and all that stuff, and there's something to be said for that. I've that's a
Time is a
that's very
commodity,
yep, that's very near a game changer. Um,
but like I don't know, if it's me being a tech person, if I was in your position and I had a 1X, I would probably wait. I would probably wait a good 2 years before I upgraded,
yeah,
because honestly, you're not even going to see any UE5 games or next generation engine games for at least a year on the
No,
next console. And to be frank, you're gonna even when you do get those, you're still going to get those on the One X.
mhm. And
So
that's the key for me is sorry, hold on. Excuse me. um, that's the key for me. And and now Microsoft has an opportunity to blow me the hell away on the 28th. Unless all those games that they're going to show come to the X and I still have time. And that's a lot of people I give Phil Spencer grief for some of the decisions he's made. Whether it's, removing Kinect, which I still to this day love. And you know what? My 360 upstairs that's now in the kids' lounge, I snuck in there the other day and popped in Dance Central. And I could still wave at it and move my thing. Played a little Kinect Sports. I
I'm
still love
I'm a
my
huge
Kinect.
fan of the Kinect because I'm not a fan of the Kinect for the Xbox. I'm a fan of the Kinect for DIY and hackables and
Sure.
stuff because like if you're into 3D printing or whatever, the Kinect is awesome because you buy two Kinects like from anywhere on Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, Let Go, whatever. You buy two Kinects for $50 for both of them, and you set them up at 90 degrees to each other. And just get like a microwave turntable. You've got a perfect 3D scanner for $50 that will outperform a $300 to $500 3D scanner that you would buy.
Absolutely. Yep.
You're like,
I've heard a lot of things like that. It's amazing.
yeah.
So
And like, if you need a cheap 1080p, if you get the original or the Xbox One Connect, if you need a cheap 1080p webcam, get a Connect. Like, it's cheap, it's fast, it will work on every PC ever made. Like, and nobody wants them because there's no real use for them anymore. So, highly recommend Connect.
I do too. But for the gaming, like I still, I took great joy in watching my kids when we first got our Xbox One, playing even just little things like Microsoft Zeus, Zoo Tycoon,
Mm-hmm.
um, and playing I think one of the best games for any Connect was Fantasia.
Hmm.
Fantasia Unleashed. What was it? Now I see it's Fantasia something something. I can't even remember what it is because I haven't played it in so long. Because I can't put that. I can't put the um uh I can't put the Kinect on my Xbox Series X.
The
So
the closest I ever got to playing a Connect game, because I never did. I set it up.
Fantasia Music Evolved.
Okay. I did set it up on my 360, but the closest I ever actually got to playing a game was mapping the Kinect to use as a mouse, a wireless mouse with hand gestures with my PC. That's the closest I ever came to using it for its intended purpose.
Okay, that's fair. So
And it
yeah,
it did that
don't
fairly
we look
well.
alike, Chris? Chris did not know you were two brothers. Don't we look alike?
Hey,
Uh, I,
we
you know,
try.
yeah. So anyway, so where I was getting at with that was, I gave a lot of grief for that, and the fact that they don't even make the adapter anymore that I could hook that up to my Xbox One X. I've given him grief over pulling out things that I have used,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's Snap, whether it's uh, you know, um, Cortana I really didn't use, so I can't say that. But every iteration of the OS, from the Xbox One to the Xbox One X was all cutting out the things that I, as an older gamer who bought into the Xbox One for its complete entertainment features.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a complete entertainment package.
Right.
One of the biggest things that I remember being advertised was the picture in picture idea, being able to like put Netflix on the corner of your screen while you're gaming, or put something on the side of your screen while you're gaming. That one of the buttons on the controller is literally a dedicated button for that program that allowed you to do the picture in picture, but it's been removed from the software completely.
Mm-hmm.
And like you pick up any Xbox One controller, the little two squares button, that's what that two squares button was for. Like I got mad when they got rid of that feature, because they never really explained why they got rid of it.
No, well, unfortunately, what their excuse is, what they go with is, well, it's not widely used.
Okay, look at the PlayStation. I mean, it's not exactly the same thing, but like being able to hot swap between things.
Mm-hmm.
That's always been one of PlayStation's. I don't want to say gimmick, but one of their things is being able to hot swap between stuff like on the fly really
well,
quick.
well. To be all right, so hold on, because now we're talking about something a little different. And by the way, hey Jeremy, doesn't my chair look good? What do you think? We could call it Two Brothers from Another Mother.
Something like that. Yeah, I don't even have your tags in the description. I'm gonna have to change it later for those that watch the VOD. But yeah,
Jeremy's awesome. I see again. I met you guys through Pete. I love, I just love hanging out with you guys. Anyway, the where was I with so yeah, so real quick. So the PlayStation and the Xbox One do share that in common.
now they didn't initially, because the originally on launch the Xbox One did not do fast switching well.
It didn't do it well, but it did resume, which
yes,
Sony did not do.
It did resume. That's
you can't switch on the PlayStation 4. You cannot switch between games. If you try to switch between games, it will close the previous game. So
I don't. Does the Xbox close it?
If you open another game, if you open an application, so let's say you're, right. So I have I do have my satellite box running through the input, the HDMI in, which of course, another thing they're pulling out of the Xbox One Series X, or the Xbox Series X, because to hell with me.
Why would you pull that out? That was like a huge feature. Like,
yeah,
the HDMI pass-through was a big deal. Like,
I am actually at the moment working on my retro segment, and I plugged my Dreamcast into my Xbox One X so that I could record the game footage on my Elgato.
Nice.
I mean, it's been a huge thing for me. But I could go back and forth between that app and a game, and it'll save that. If I try to open up another game, it will shut down the previous game. So both of them do that. So that's the one thing that the Series X looks like it's going to do very well, is allow you to fast resume between multiple games.
Yeah, and I think the PlayStation 5 advertises the same thing as well.
I don't remember, honestly.
I was pretty sure that they advertised fast switching, because back when they first announced the SSD speed and everything, they were talking specifically about how it's applicable for fast swapping between games, and because you wouldn't necessarily be keeping the game running, but launching the game back to its previous state would happen so quickly, it would be like you never closed the game, I think, is basically how they explained it.
Okay. So anyway, the whole point is all these things, I have banged on Phil Spencer about. But the things that the one thing that he has recognized that I respect a great deal is his ability to read the landscape and say, yes, we're going to put out this powerful console, but we're not going to forget about the folks who we did ask to spend another $500 after spending $500,
Right.
because we want to bring out an apology console, because that's what I have never wavered from that. You say what you want about how great the Xbox One X is, the PS Pro, all of that stuff. The Xbox One X was an apology console for the Xbox One. The Xbox One X is the last Jedi to the Xbox One being, or Rise of Skywalker to the Xbox One being the Last Jedi. They wanted to make sure you forgot that the original Xbox One existed.
Yeah.
To the point to where they brought out an S model to make sure that you didn't have the taste of the original Xbox One in your mouth anymore. So the Xbox One X.
I love my original Xbox One.
I do too. It's upstairs. The kids play it.
I mean, it's a glorified Roku now. That's about how much it gets used, but I mean, I've never once, besides my DVD drive laser going out in it recently, besides that, I've never once had an issue about it. And to be fair, back when my kid was 2 years old, he had shoved like literally 50 quarters inside the inside the DVD drive of the Xbox One. So I wonder why the laser stopped working.
Right.
So that I can't fault the console for the laser not working in the disk drive anymore.
True. Yeah.
But besides that, I've never had an issue with it. So like, I don't know. I never saw a valid reason why the PS4 Pro or the Xbox One X needed to exist.
They needed to exist because people didn't like what they first saw. And especially with the Xbox One,
I would have said wait 2 years.
People rebelled. Yeah, but at the time that wasn't the we didn't know that was happening.
Yeah.
So
okay, so let me petition you with this. Would you have rather had what happened happen, or would you have rather had the Xbox Series X come out a year earlier?
I don't think it could come out a year earlier.
Well, it would have different hardware. It wouldn't have, like, the CPU and the GPU wouldn't be the new Zen 2 or Zen 3 architecture. But
I mean, keep in mind that the Xbox 360 and the PS3 went 10 years between. The normal cycle was 5 years between consoles. They really didn't have that new console drought until the 360. Because they were so good, and the 360 especially really, didn't hit its big stride until games like Gears of War and stuff like that. So the Xbox 360 had a lot of power behind it that it could harness over time. I'll be honest with you. I'm going back and playing Xbox games that, to me, look as they hold up real well. Rally Sport Challenge 2 is amazing looking for a 15-year-old game.
Mm-hmm.
360 games are quite impressive looking for what they are, and they're still impressive.
Did you ever play a game called Prototype on the 360? I love that. I love that game.
Yeah, the remaster, not so much.
I didn't play the remaster because I heard really bad things about it.
But it wasn't good.
I loved Prototype was one of my loves for the 360. Like when that game came out, it was just different and it was open world. Like this is when open worlds really started. I feel like open worlds really started like branching out into mainstream at that point. Like at that era of the 360, that's when open worlds started to become more prevalent. Like you had GTAs and stuff before that, but like I feel like midway through the 360 is where you really started to see open world start to take off towards other developers besides just, Grand Theft Auto.
But yeah.
So it was just kind of cool because I think that was like my first on console. I think that was my first open world game. And I mean, it wasn't really open world, but it was, but it wasn't, but it was.
Okay, well, and it really was.
I mean, by today's standards, it's open world with loading screens by today's
sure.
standards. But
Sure.
hardware limitations. It was an Xbox 360.
Wow. But so anyway, the best thing that Phil did was decide that, again, for those of us who spent $1,000 in
10 years,
in 3 years, in really 13, 14, 15, 16, 4 years, to spend $1,000 in consoles, and then ask us to do it again 3 years later. He I believe he understands that is wrong, and so he's saying we're going to support you, and that's the right move. That's the right move, and so I give him a lot of credit for that. And it buys me enough time to to move into the next generation of consoles at my pace.
So another game that's coming out for Xbox, and this has been a very heavily slanted Xbox conversation we've been having here, but
do you own a PlayStation?
I own a PlayStation Portable.
A PSP?
I love PSP.
Oh my gosh. Oh wow. You know what? Mine, I had mine. See, mine sits up on my Uncharted box, and my cat knocked it down because I'm an idiot, and it broke. So it's up there for show right now. If I could I gotta find a cheap PSP.
Dude, okay.
I have
how
so
cheap?
many.
How cheap are you? Looking?
I don't know. I don't know what the going rate on a PSP is these days.
$50.
I've got
$50 shipped
50
to your house for an original PSP. If you're looking for like a PSP 1000 or something from eBay, you can get them used.
I don't think the Go did the Go run the UMDs.
I don't think so. I think the Go had Bluetooth, so you could connect to controller and connect to your phone, etc. But I don't think it had UMD. I think it was all digital. I'm not sure though. I didn't have a Go. But I love the chat is saying no. I love the capabilities of the PSP. Like
I did too. I used to rip movies to my hold on. I've got it up here. Hold on.
Yeah, I just put I tried to put 200 or 512 gigs of SD card into my PSP for my son, with one of those dual micro SD card adapter thingies.
Yep. Yeah, one of these.
Yeah. Only it'll only read from the front one, so he's only got 256 gigs. Only on a PSP.
I think it might be in the, I've got a couple of PSP memory sticks that still have movies on them and stuff that I would watch on, like when I used to go to E3. I used to pack it with me so I could watch movies on the plane before people everybody else is taking their big hunking laptops, and I was watching on my PSP.
The PSP was so far ahead of its time. Like,
yeah, it really was.
You think back to like PlayStation 3. Okay, so the PSP came out before the PlayStation 3. I didn't actually know this until recently, but it came out just before the PlayStation 3, like 6 months or a year before. So it was out during the PlayStation 2 era. Like, think about that for a minute. Like, just think about like how much capabilities was in an original little tiny PSP, and it came out at the tail end of the PS2 era. Like, that is insane.
Oh, it was insane.
And the crazy part is the original PSP 1000 still holds up to this day, in my opinion, for being able to output graphics and stuff. Like, I was just playing some PlayStation 3 games on it, I don't know, a week and a half ago, and it looked as good as a Nintendo Switch, if you ask me. Smaller screen, sure, but heck, for $50, what are you gonna do?
No, I would. Yeah,
Can't buy a Switch for that.
no. You know, I have a ton of PSP games too, both with and without, and I've got some of the like the best of Saturday Night Live. So I had movies and stuff. I'd take a look and see what I got and show them. I have to show them to you next time we're on together.
The other great thing about the PSP is that like my PSP that I gave to my son has nearly every video game ever made from Pong up until N64 on it.
Oh.
Like, playable on it. Show me another console, another handheld that can do that for $50. No one can.
Oh.
And then it's also got, you know, your standard assortment of PlayStation 1 original games, and then it's got a couple of PlayStation 2 emulated games, and I don't mean the ones that were ported to the PSP. People don't know this, a lot of people don't know this, but the PlayStation Portable is actually capable of fully emulating the PlayStation 2. I often compare when I'm talking about the Amico that if the Amico has at least as much graphical compute power as the PSP in today's day and age, I will be more than satisfied with it. Because, yeah, that's how high of an opinion I have of the original PSP. Throw it into a mainstream console today, and I would be happy with it.
Yeah.
All
right.
But back to the Microsoft skewed part. I was gonna ask you, have you heard anything about the new Fable?
No, biggest secret, biggest open secret in the world, though. I mean, obviously, everybody. So this could be a curveball. Everybody believes that Playground Games is going to make it, but what if they're not? What if that? I mean, I thought that Fable could be done by Rare.
I thought Fable was dead.
Fable's not dead. Fable is coming back. I believe that. This is not Splinter Cell we're talking about. Fable is coming back.
Wait,
Conquer is dead.
When you take a staple game like Fable, and then the last game you make for it, of note that you make for it, is a Connect only game.
Well, so that's not the only game. The problem
I know
is
it's not the only game, but...
and this is one of the things that I beat on Phil Spencer for. He had an interesting, cool idea with Fable Legends, with that kind of 4-person Phantasy Star Online kind of versus the RTS villain, and he never gave it the proper chance to succeed. Cutting it, and I was in that beta. I watched that game grow, and it is one of the most infuriating things to see it get as far as it did, and then to watch Phil Spencer literally kill it in front of us.
I'm surprised that somebody's not making a lawsuit right now, because there's a game called Albion Online. And when you hear something like Albion Online, what do you think of? I think that's a Fable. That's a Fable MMO, right? Like, no, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's not. But even the I'll call it the box work, the cover art looks like it's Fable-esque.
It looks like Fable Legends.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah. So like when I first saw that, the first time I saw that, I was like, yes, because I would love a Fable MMO. I would never leave my computer. I wouldn't. I Fable 1 all the way to Fable 3. You got me locked. All right? And then you should have released an MMO right there. Right after Fable 3. And that would have been
So, here's why you can't sue them for that, though. You do know what Albion is, right?
I don't. I mean,
so
it's the Fable world.
Yeah. Well, it is, but it's also the alternative name for the island of Great Britain.
Oh,
that's why
Okay.
That's why there's an Albion College. There's football clubs called something Albion. Albion is not it honestly isn't it's not a fantasy world. It's used by games like Fable. It was used by this and stuff like that, but it's not. It's a real world.
Gotcha.
So
yeah, I guess the only thing that I had heard about the new Fable is that there is most likely going to be one. That's pretty much all I've heard thus far, and all I have to say is be a return to forum, please, for the love of God. Be a return to forum. Go back to 1 through 3. Bring us back the real Fable, please. Will the real Fable please stand up?
Right. And I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, at the same time, I'd like them to redo one of Tommy Tallarico's games that he was involved with, called Advent Rising. Yeah, I think that's it. Advent Rising, from the original Xbox. It was a great game. It got killed by Halo.
Well,
they were very game physics, not story, but in every other aspect, they were very similar games. Like gameplay and everything else, they were very similar. So like I can completely understand why Microsoft intentionally killed one of its own products, because it was competing with itself.
Well, yeah. So, but I know Playground Games is like the apparent developer for a Fable, but I'm interested to see if that's a head fake.
I don't know, Chris. I really hope we do not get Witcher 3 graphics on the next Fable. I won't play it. I honestly will not play it if it has modern AAA style graphics. I will not play it, because that's not Fable.
So you're looking for more of the welcome back, Travis. You're looking for more of the it's not a cartoon.
No, it's
but you're
like
it's like Shrek.
Stylized animated type of thing.
Which is why I think given what Playground Games already does with Forza Horizon, why I think a studio like Rare would be perfect for that. I mean, look at Sea of Thieves. Look at how that looks. Look at Rare's other IPs that they have worked on before. They are. I could imagine Fable that looks good. You remember Grab by the Ghoulies? Remember how good that game looked? I mean, that's a that with that kind of look. With that, I know what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
But like I just remember like was 3 the intro when you start out as a poor kid in the city in Bowerstone, or was that 2? I don't remember. But like
I don't.
that intro with the music box and everything, and like that first initial, like when you just see that artwork, like you know it's Fable. You know from the moment, like from the moment it starts, the game launches, you follow this bird in on the intro down to the kids, and then you see this, you see the video, and you know you're in the Fable universe. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that instant you know you're there feel, as opposed to a change of form. Because if you want to do a change of form, make a different video game. Don't
No,
yeah,
I agree
don't
with that. I agree with that.
don't continue a franchise by completely changing everything about the game.
So looking at Fable 3, it does kind of look a little grown up, but it still has that stylized. You're right, kind of that stylized, you know, kind of non-conformed people look, you know, where everybody's kind of a,
Like
you know, everybody.
you can look at the cover art from Fable, and then you can look at the gameplay from Fable, and they're not identical, but they're close enough that
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. But I
Whereas
will
like
say, I mean,
yeah.
looking at what I'm looking at for Fable 3 now, and admittedly, I haven't played Fable 3. That was during the time that I had retired from playing games. It is a little more grown up than 2.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it definitely is. And I think that's just because I think that's because they realized that the people who played 1 and 2, the the returning consumer for Fable, they are growing up too. So the game should
Yeah.
grow up slowly with the consumer. And I completely appreciate that. Like when I'm playing a game and all of a sudden, I feel like I'm being patronized when I'm, 30 years old now instead of 12. Like I don't want to feel like I'm being patronized. Like, because if I go back and I play Halo or Fable 1, it's a very patronizing experience compared to playing Fable 3. Oh, that is a
No,
good point, Super Jeremy World. Hot take. Fable does Legend of Zelda better than some actual Legend of Zelda titles do.
you know,
I can't disagree with that, Jeremy, but I'm not a Zelda fan.
sorry, work actually.
You
I have a
are
24-hour service desk, and they sensed that I was still awake.
Ooh, he's still awake. Must bother.
Yeah, must bother the boss. So,
But yeah, I was just curious how you felt about the possibility of getting a new Fable, because I just read that it might
yeah,
be
I need to,
happening.
I need to get, I don't know. I need to see what's coming. I told Peter the other day. He says, "Man, I don't know what's happening to me. I'm enjoying playing my old stuff more than I haven't turned on my Xbox in weeks. I've been so into, the retro stuff I've been playing. The Outlaw series, Virtua Fighter. I'm in the middle of taking video now for hopefully I'll be able to finish it by Thursday. Where I'm doing a look at old school retro rally games.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like Test Drive V Rally on the Dreamcast, Sega Rally Championship on the Saturn, and
There were
Rally
some
Sport Challenge.
good ones for PlayStation 2. Even original PlayStation, there were a couple of good ones.
Colin McRae. which turned into dirt.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you know, and I wish the one thing I wish I did not get rid of, although it broke, so I really couldn't have used it. I'd like to get another PS2. I'm sure I could find one cheap, but all of my games are gone, and I feel bad about that because there were some great PS2 games out there.
I
That
still own every Star Trek PlayStation 2 game ever made. I still have them. They're in. I even have the plastic cases for them too. I don't have the boxes they came in, but I have the plastic cases with the manuals, and they're all in a DVD booklet right now. So I have like Shattered Universe and I don't even remember. I have them all. I have all the Star Trek games for PlayStation 2. I got rid of almost all my other games, but I made sure to keep those. That's how you know you're a Star Trek nut.
Yes.
Everything can go except for the video games that have cool looking Star Trek Enterprise E's on the front of them.
Yep, like my 32X version of Star Trek Bridge Simulator.
Yep.
And what else? Oh man, there are some great Star Trek games. I had one for the Genesis that was really good. I can't remember what it was called. It was a next generation game at that, I think.
I remember playing Academy back in the day, back when Interplay was
Star
still
Trek
a thing.
Academy.
Yeah.
Do you remember the simulator in the arcade?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wish that Interplay still existed, and like some of the older gaming companies that have just kind of been absorbed and like reshelled out and torn apart. It makes me really sad because there were some really good companies back in the day, like back in the early 2000s to late 2000s. Like I feel like that was the golden age of video game production.
Yeah. Star Trek Strategic Operations Simulator. It was so good.
Yeah, man.
And I'm trying to. So there was a Next Generation and a Deep Space Nine game for the Genesis. I hated Deep Space Nine, so I never got that. But I had the Next Generation game, which was
It was the Deep Space Nine game was called Hidden Evil, I think. Because I played it on PC. I remember it.
Are you sure? Crossroads of Time was the Genesis one.
Was it?
Yep. I'm looking at the box. I thought that there was another one, but as far as a Genesis game that had the original Star Trek, but I guess not.
Oh no, that Hidden Evil wasn't even a Deep Space Nine game.
Oh well, there you go.
Hidden Evil was a Star Trek game. It was made by Activision, or it was published by Activision. It was made by Presto Studios, and it was for Windows only, and it was made in 1999. And
Gotcha.
It looks like an Enterprise E game.
Oh, I like the Enterprise E too.
My favorite, aside from like RTSs like Star Trek Armada or Starfleet Armada and Armada 2, besides those, my favorite PC game would probably be Elite Force, Star Trek Voyager, Elite Force, and Elite Force 2, Forces 2. Those were great. And for a while, Elite Forces 2 is actually no, Elite Forces 1 and 2 are both abandonware now. You can get them for free, completely legal, which is cool. Actually, when Elite Forces 2 first went to abandonware and the whatever it is, the copyright on it ran out, the original developers publicly released it on the internet, free for download straight from the original website. That was very cool of them.
That is cool of them.
I wish more people would do that with old video games. Like, if you're not going to make any money on it, you're not going to renew the copyright or the patent on the game. Like, if you're not going to do these things, at least release it so other people can like sustain it and keep it in circulation. Because otherwise, you lose where we've been. History is a big deal to me, and like gaming has its own history. Let's try and preserve it.
Right. No, very much so.
On the news side of things, this is a topic that's gotten pushed almost to the point where it's irrelevant. But for this month,
It's just how much I like my news.
For this month, the month of July of 2020, it is anime month on Xbox. So there's an up to 60% off of anime movies and TV.
All right, well now you've lost me.
So like you can get
anime.
You can get all of Sword Art Online for $20. All the seasons of it for $20. You can get all of the new Digimon movies from 2017 to 2018. That's 6 movies for $20. Like, there's a whole bunch of anime on Xbox video store right now, and it's super cheap.
Okay. Hey, any Fist of the North Star? That's about it. Fist of the North Star. That's about as good as my anime gets.
I've got to get you acclimated, man. I just got to get you into it.
I don't have enough time. I mean, look, okay. So this is how bad I am at anime. I know of some of them. I've heard of Bubblegum Crisis. I know of Akira.
Okay, I was going to say, if you haven't heard Akira, then...
I've seen Akira. I watched the anime Street Fighter 2 movie. I get it. It's just I don't know. I have not gotten into anime like other people have. So,
the funny thing about certain things is like anime is very time subjective. Like I don't mean that as in like it takes a lot of time to get into. I mean like depending on when you get into it, things are very fluid in the anime world, in my opinion. Because, like, Akira is an occult classic. It is, like, the epitome. Every list you go out and, like, top anime movies, it's always number one. And, yeah. Sure. In the 90s. In the 2000s. Sure. I can list 100 better movies than Akira. The anime movies. I love Akira. It is a great movie. It is not a movie you're going to watch more than once. Unless you're like a hardcore anime zealot. Because it's very long. Like Akira is a very long movie, and to be frank, it's very slow going. Instead of watching Akira, I would honestly recommend to most people to go watch a much lesser known movie franchise called Appleseed, which is much more modern, much more quick paced. You can sit down, watch a 2-hour movie, feel like you've only been watching something for half an hour, which I'm a big fan of.
Hey, I have no issue with anybody who watches likes. Just not my cup of tea. It's got to be certain things, and I can't get into the deep and heavy anime.
Oh, poo on you, Mike. Don't you boo Appleseed. Appleseed is the best.
Oh yeah, that's right. There's Appleseed. You're right. Ghost in the Shell. I don't know what other. What is that? Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball.
I'm a big Dragon Ball Z Dragon Ball Super fan.
Yeah, but there's other. Oh.
Okay, you better like Appleseed.
I don't know. I've heard of it. So. Gundam.
Gundam. Yep. Gundam.
I remember Gundam.
Well, see, and it's very subjective what people consider anime, because like some people will consider like the old school like Voltron is usually considered anime. Thundercats,
So
He-Man. A lot of those are
I
considered classic American anime.
well, Voltron though.
Voltron
So
is classic anime without the American
yeah,
asterisk, but like He-Man, Thundercats, stuff like that,
I
that's
never.
kind of anime.
Yeah.
It
See,
has
no,
its own thing.
I never considered. See, I never considered He-Man and Thundercats in those anime. I considered them cartoons. Like I
Right.
didn't consider Transformers anime. I considered that. I consider that a cartoon. Voltron. Voltron was more like a Gundam style
Mm-hmm.
show. So
Oh,
that
you
one I
can too.
did consider. I did consider that anime, but no, He-Man was a cartoon.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, yeah. You know,
But
but
yeah,
I can't get
so
into some of these things that are.
a lot of things that were considered cartoons in the 80s to slash
Yeah,
90s
Naruto. That's
are.
the other one I'm thinking
Yeah,
of.
no,
Naruto.
no, I'm no anti. Nope. Oh,
I'm just saying.
yeah,
I'm
nope.
just saying that's what I've heard. I know that name. It was another one. What was the two? There are two female, two girl gunfighters, futuristic, like not police, but like out oh crap.
That was a very vague description.
No, they were it was specifically two girls and they were like vigilantes, but they were like futuristic. It was like futuristic vigilantism.
Michael
So
says
they
dirty pair.
Dirty Pair, thank you. Dirty Pair. That one I've heard. I've never watched a lot of them, but I remember Dirty Pair a little bit.
See, I was.
This is how bad I am at anime, man. You picked the wrong night to talk about anime.
See, I always like tuned into the more obscure stuff. Like in the 2000s when I was like setting out on my own and whatnot, I started like going to the more obscure stuff. So like I've watched stuff that had like 7 episodes. Like Agent Akia is a big one that I love that virtually no one I talk to has ever even heard of. Stuff like that, or I was one of the first people that I know to have ever watched Black Lagoon, which is a great Americanized anime. It has much more American appeal to it than most animes do. But at the same time, I've watched a lot of mainstream anime. I watched Yu Yu Hakusho back in the day. I watch Full Metal Alchemist, Dragon Ball Z, uh, you know, Outlaw Star, Cowboy Bebop. Yeah, all the good stuff. But we'll get off of anime since I know it's not your thing. I know that you had a little bit of a topic for retro that you messaged me about the other day.
I did. How long do you want to go?
Um,
How long does this show usually go?
it usually
'Cause
goes for an hour. We're a bit over right now, but we should probably at least hit one major retro topic before we go.
One major retro topic. So, give me your thoughts on the Polymega.
My thoughts are I know absolutely nothing about it. Give me give me the sales pitch.
Okay, so the Polymega is a retro console in a way, and so hear me all the way through this because you're gonna, I don't want any people to say, "Oh my God, Mike called it a Retron." It's not. But in the spirit of the Retron series, you know how like the Retron 5 has cartridge slots for 5 different consoles that you could play, and it's supposed to emulate all those consoles and things like that.
Sure.
So the Polymega is supposed to be that on steroids. So the base unit is actually a CD player.
I'm not laughing at you, Mike. I'm laughing at
That's okay. That's okay. Hang on. the the CD drive in the Retron. See, now I called it a Retron. This is how late it's getting.
The Polymega.
So, the
The CD
Polymega.
drive and
Thank
the
you.
Polymega.
Yes, the Polymega. So the Polymega CD drive, it can play Saturn games, PS1, TurboGrafx CD, and Neo Geo CD, and Sega CD. So out of the gate. So natively.
Okay.
Well, not. I'm sorry. Let me not say natively. It is emulated, but but you don't have to. There's no modules for it. You just put the you put the disc in, and the system knows what emulator to use. Kind of like RetroArch. If you've ever seen RetroArch, kind of like that, but a little, but of course in a set-top box. Then they have modules that you can put on top of the CD that does the cartridge,
Okay.
the cartridge games. So it is not completely out yet. I'm looking it up now to see where they are.
See,
There's people that are beta testing it, and Walmart, for example, sells the base unit for $400.
Jesus.
And I think that's what it's going to cost. It's going to cost $400, and then the modules are going to be $80. So they have a module for the Super
Nope.
Nintendo.
You lost me.
They have a module for the Genesis and 32X. They have a module for the TurboGrafx 16, a module for the NES, and they basically just, you pop it in and that's how you play.
Okay, so I guess my question is, what's the advantage to not just going out and buying all those consoles? Because for $400 plus the $80 for the modules, I'm pretty sure I could just go buy all the other consoles. So what's the advantage?
You could.
Does it have HDMI out or?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a big advantage.
Yeah. So okay. So here's a list right now of everything that it does. So I'm looking on their site. Compatible systems: PlayStation, and then PlayStation PAL and Japanese,
Mm-hmm.
Saturn PAL and Japanese, Genesis, Mega Drive and Japanese Mega Drive, Genesis 32X, Mega Drive, and Super 32X, which of course was Japanese 32X, Sega CD, Mega CD of all regions, Sega CD 32X, all those regions, TurboGrafx CD, PC Engine, PC CD-ROM 2, Super Arcade CD-ROM 2, Super Graphics, Neo Geo CD, NES, Super NES, Super Famicom, and all that. So
right.
It's got 30 systems that it's compatible with if you break out the region free stuff.
Yeah, and you get all of the modules and stuff.
Right. So you buy the module, you put the module on top of the base unit, and then you have the ability to play your entire cartridge library. But you can also.
So is there one module for all of the cartridges, or are there individuals? Okay, so they're individual modules. Okay.
Right.
So yeah, and you could rack up to like $700 pretty quick.
Oh yeah, easily. Okay. However, you also can install those games to hard drive inside the Polymega. So you create a digital library. So
see, all this is just screaming, and Mike gets fanfare. All of this is just screaming, buy a modded PS2. Like
modded for right. So that's see, this is where they lost me too, because you have the I've got a modded Saturn, right? So I can play Japanese and I can play American Saturn games. And Hyperkin makes one heck of an HDMI cable for it. That's pretty darn good. Not perfect, but pretty darn good. That cable was $30. So,
like for me, honestly, I wouldn't even say buy a modded PS2. I honestly, to me, the best when it comes to a situation like this, if you really want everything in one place like that, and you own the games already, go buy a PlayStation 3. Take an hour to research how to mod a PlayStation 3, because you have enough hardware, you have enough graphical hardware, you have enough space, you have enough memory. You can emulate every single console that was made up to the PlayStation 3 on the PlayStation 3. Like, and it's got Bluetooth, so you can buy aftermarket Bluetooth NES controllers, aftermarket Bluetooth N64 controllers, Jaguar controllers, everything. You can get a Bluetooth controller for virtually anything these days. And the console's got built-in Bluetooth. So to me, when you're looking at buying something like the Polymega, I look over and I'm like, okay, where's my modded PS3? Because it does all that and more.
Right. No, I soft modded my Xbox.
Yeah.
And took all my Sega CDs that I own. It's over there on the shelf. And I ripped them I put a new hard drive in the Xbox, and I ripped them to the hard drive. And so there's my Sega CD, and I've got an HDMI cable that works extremely well for my Xbox. So
yeah. And I know that there are those, and I only know of this because Super Jeremy World, shout out, has told me that there are these people out there who will beep and moan about oh, well, the emulation's not perfect, or you obviously don't own that game because you're playing on a ROM and an emulator, and shut up. just like just shut up. If it's the best way for that person to play the game, then let them play the game that way. Like, I want to be able to play on my new 4K TV. I want to be able to play NES games in widescreen on 4K. Like, I'm not going to go out and buy a $500 Polymega or $400 Polymega plus an $80 expansion just so I can plug an HDMI cord into it to play Super Mario Brothers in 4:3 aspect ratio on a 65-inch 4K TV. I would rather play it emulated, where I can actually control the native resolution and be able to play it in proper format, in proper frame rate. It doesn't make sense to play it the original way, in my opinion. But I'm also a tech nerd, so I prefer the more techie route of things.
I'm with you there. I could understand that. I could definitely understand that. And look, like I said, I only brought it probably back. I figured you knew about it. If it's not for me. I thought it was going to be for me, and I looked at the price, and I'm like, no, it's not for me. So I totally understand that too.
I mean, I'm not knocking the idea, but like at the same time, even you were having troubles like differentiating it from the Retrocon or whatever we were talking about with the Polymega. Like, it's not original. It's really not. It's not a new idea. It's not. It doesn't blow me away.
Yeah. And that's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm super critical of retro things. Like I said, when Jeremy first introduced me to the Amico, I was not I was not enthused about it. I am now. It's still got my pre-order waiting, my VIP pre-order. Charcoal black for me. And I'm also still on the Founders Edition waiting list, which is apparently very, very freaking long. by the way, the waiting list. And I'm not near the top.
I'm in that 2600, baby.
So if somebody has more than one Founders Edition pre-order out there and they're feeling like not being greedy anymore and they want to like sign it over to me, I'd be very appreciative. Just saying. Anywho, we are about half an hour over, so we should probably call it there for the night.
Yes, I am fading.
I am fading too. I tried to take a nap at about 8 o'clock, and I was like, God, I hope I wake up. And my alarm rang at 10, and I was like, I could just skip it and say I forgot, and it would be fine. Nobody would know.
And you know what? I'd have been all right. I would have been all right. I'd have been like, you know what? I'm good. It was all right. So no, I'm glad I was able to jump on with you. This is good. You know, we have such a good time playing Star Trek Bridge Crew, and you know, I think that, you know, one of the things that you know, you guys should do, just you know, just to think about, is take a look at the time of the show, because most people probably have to watch it either if they're on the East Coast, we have to watch it the next day.
Yeah,
which I do. I got to get that like in there. I got to, you know, I got to make sure I listen to you guys.
yeah. Don't forget to like down there.
Yeah. Oh, I already did. And
Talking to
sub.
everybody
Come
else.
on, guys.
And sub.
This is good stuff. You know, you and Jeremy have some great conversation. I love, you know, the you. It's intelligent game talk, and I love intelligent game talk. I could do if it wasn't 12:30, I could do intelligent game talk. Believe me, trust me, people probably would have come out of the woodwork to warn you. If you get Mike on, it's going to be a 3-hour show. That's just the way it happens, you know, because I tend to find people who can intelligently talk about gaming, and it makes for better discussion.
Yeah,
so,
the time constraints are really centered around Jeremy's family life right now. So, you know, 8 o'clock Pacific time is bedtime, you know, for the kiddos and everything. So that's kind of where the starting line starts on Tuesday nights, which is 11 o'clock our time, my time. So
yeah,
it makes it difficult to start much earlier than that. But yeah, I definitely do understand the lateness being a problem. I mean, some nights it's been good, and some nights we'll get like, I think we've had a maximum of like 18 or 28, somewhere in there, people at once over on Super Jeremy World. But more often than not, we average between like 3 and 9 people.
Oh, it's, you know,
it's not too bad. Quality. It's fun. Yeah.
It's the quality of the people.
Exactly. You know? Anyhow, everybody, before we all decide to fall asleep on stream together, sleepover. Thank you, Mike, for joining us tonight. If everybody would please go and subscribe to the original Next Level Gaming, and go like all their videos and join them. What day and what time is your major weekly stream?
Thursday nights at 9 o'clock.
Thursday
PM
9. Yes, Eastern Standard. Yep. And expect them to go for 3 hours or more.
We will not. I am targeting the 2-hour time frame, because that makes it easier for people to stay in the chat longer and not have to think that, oh my God, we're going to be here till midnight. And you know, to be fair, both Chris and John both work like dead early in the morning, and so they get 2 or 3 hours of sleep before they have to get back up. So it's I'm hoping that this will help with not killing my guys, because it's I have such a great team. I can't speak highly enough about the panel that I've got, about the co-host, the guys that are the pillars, of that show. That show, me by myself would be crap. These guys make NLG, and so I'm blessed to have them with me. So.
Well, thank you again for coming on. Next week, everybody. Oh, absolutely. Anytime you will. Anytime I need a sub for Jeremy, you're going to be my first call.
And I don't know if I'll be able to make it every time.
But hopefully it won't be that often, unless Jeremy decides to go on vacation every week or something.
Jeremy can't do that.
Nope. So thanks for coming tonight, everybody. Like I said earlier in the stream, I won't be here next week, but there should be a sub in my place. And then the week after, Jeremy and I are going to have a little bit of a surprise for everybody. So hopefully I will see you in 2 weeks' time. Take it easy, and thanks for coming. Have a great night.
Thanks, everybody. Play on, gamers.